After careful and thorough study of shift differentials in the various marketplaces where we operate, it was determined that changes were needed.
I don't know if you guys were watching back in the day, maybe like a year ago, a little more than a year ago, the Sisters of Charity decided to do some shenanigans, if you will, with their crew.
We are going to talk tonight about a skirmish between the Sisters of Charity of Leavenworth Hospital Systems and We Do the Work podcast, guest starring the staff of Sisters of Charity of Leavenworth Hospital Systems across the Colorado region.
Well, I guess I'll start at the beginning.
How do we know these folks? How do we know Sisters of Charity of Leavenworth? Well, when we were starting We Do the Work podcast, long before then, Eddie and I were teammates, as you would call us, in one of the busiest ERs in Colorado, a place called Lutheran Medical Center. As Ed and I kind of became friends, we developed the podcast, We Do the Work. We felt that we wanted to create a worker-driven media center that did more than represent workers, that was really run by workers, so that we could talk the language that workers talk.
We found out from one of our sources that the sisters were cutting shift differential for some of the lowest paid people at the hospital. We're talking the techs, not the paramedics, but like the EMTBs and housekeeping, food service, those types.
For those of you that don't know what shift differential is, this would be some small amount of money that would be attached to your normal wage if you were to work, into the evenings or on weekends or on holidays or through the night shift. You get paid some $2, $3, $4 more. Although I don't think it's that much for the lower end folks. It's like that for the RNs. A couple of the things that we want to talk about right away is the fact is that this hospital system, like a lot of hospital systems across the country, is non-union. In other words, there is no organization, there's no formal organization of the staff, which means that you don't have a contract that you're working under. You don't have wages that are on par with the best wages of the state. And, by and large, management has a much freer hand to do what they will with you. And that can range from setting wages to your benefits package. In a union workplace, for example, if you are speaking to a manager around a disciplinary action, you have a job steward there, which represents you and represents the union and records the meeting. Sisters of Charity of Leavenworth is not like that. So it's a relatively insecure work environment to begin with, and the wages, although they would disagree with this, are substandard. If you want a reference for that, me personally, I was making over $48 an hour in the union workforce of Kaiser Permanente in Colorado, whereas right down the hallway at Good Samaritan, I was making about $32 an hour. So you should consider a market analysis of our own.
They actually refer to base pay as part of your total rewards package. They actually said these words. Shift differential are just one component of your total rewards package, which also includes base pay and benefit. Like you won a fucking contest. What? Are you drunk?
A lot of people think that those of us that work for hospitals get free health insurance, and that's just not the case. The fact of the matter is that most people that work for hospitals don't get free health care.
How goddamn much did you say my copay was?
$150.
But I'm a hospital worker.
Nobody cares.
When we found this out, we were like, oh, hell no! Not going to fucking happen, not on our watch.
Eddie Asher got on the horn with a bunch of the bigwigs there at Sisters of Charity of Leavenworth.
I got on the horn, boop, boop, boop. Started calling some CEOs.
Thank you for calling Lutheran Medical Center. Thank you for calling Good Samaritan Medical Center.
Hi, Shaylee. I'm trying to get in touch with Grant Wickland.
I'm sorry, he's in a meeting right now. Can I help you with something?
Hi, Jessica. I'm trying to get in touch with Jennifer Alderfer. Got her
Record
voicemail.
your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hi, Jennifer. My name's Eddie Asher. I'm a journalist with We Do the Work. We've been getting some reports on SCL Health and Good Samaritan Hospital cutting the wages of some staff members, and we just wanted to follow up and get your guys' side of the story.
Of course, they didn't want to talk about anything.
But this is interesting because when we learned about this, and this all came through forwarded emails from the staff, what was told to those folks is that their differential was going to be cut. And so there's a fascinating email here that was sent out. It was graphically designed by somebody, and it has multiple colors, which is important. And it's titled, Aligning Our Pay Practices. So I'm going to read a little bit from this. This is what you would have gotten had you been an EMT or a pharmacy tech or a lot of folks there. Throughout our history, SCL Health has worked hard to deliver exceptional care that is well coordinated, accessible, affordable, safe, and Let me translate. What they did is they conducted some kind of a study. And the study said that they should cut wages. We should stipulate here quite clearly that Colorado is a beautiful place to live. Ask any rich person that has moved out there in the last 10 years. Because according to many media outlets, the price of living in Colorado, the cost of living in Colorado is on par with Los Angeles, California. So when they're talking about market studies, they're not talking about what do our workers need to live in Denver, Colorado. What they're talking about is we've compared the wages of our workers in Denver to those of our workers in Kansas, and the workers in Denver make too much or make over the other workers. When you're talking about these low-end paying jobs, you're talking about 13, 14, maybe 15 bucks an hour. So none of these folks are going home in a Rolls Royce with a bunch of champagne wages and heading off to the timeshare in Baja California anytime soon. The CEO, quite a bit different.
Well, speaking of CEOs, let's talk about the CEO of Lutheran Medical Center, Mr. Grant Wicklund. See, in 2015, he pulled in $1.1 million. That was a 37% increase on his 2014 salary. 37%, that's pretty nice. David Ham is the former CEO of Good Samaritan Medical Center. Now it's Jennifer Aldeber, but anyway, in 2015, he pulled in a cool $978K. I don't know, $15 or $18 an hour, beats $978K, but that was a 37% increase on his previous year's salary. And Brian Ferris, the old CEO of St. Joseph's Hospital, they pulled in a nice, easy $1.4 million in 2014. So they want to realign the pay cuts or the pay wages for the lowest paid employees, and these clowns are bringing in 7 figures. So after We Do the Work started meddling a little bit, and after people started asking these kind of important questions about wage cuts, SCL decided that they would intervene a little bit. And they did it in a curious way where they decided to start taking a keen interest in the We Do the Work Facebook page. They also mentioned to their workers that if the workers were contacted by anybody from We Do the Work, that they were under no obligation to talk to them. And then they were saying that they were going to go on to the Facebook page and start notating everybody who worked for SCL that was liking things that we had on the We Do the Work Facebook. Now, I don't know about you, but I can read between the lines. If my boss all of a sudden told me that he was snooping on my Facebook page and that the upper management was taking a keen interest into who I might be talking to from a journalistic outlet, I think I might see that as a certain veiled threat or maybe veiled warning. And then they sent out that email praising them, the management, for walking back the pay cuts. Then they walked back the wage cuts. They said that any current employee would be grandfathered into the current shift differential structure, and only new employees would have a new shift differential structure. And they also, at least at Lutheran, they sent out emails praising the hard work of Grant Wicklund, the CEO. Dear fabulous CNA team, did you all get a chance to attend one of Grant Wicklund's town halls last week? If not, Grant took those stories right up to the top and fought for you all! ! Grant, they heard you. This is not Lutheran's values or mission. This is not who we are. Grant, Andrea Birch, and Scott Day stuck their necks out to fight for you, and it worked! I urge you to complete this survey in your email, blah, 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 and let's thank our senior team for going to bat for us. This little accolade would mean a lot to our senior team, and thank you. Thanks, Grant, for all the hard work that you did for these guys. Anyway, we took care of it. We got it done. We, our workers, our network, our worker-run journalism got that shit done. got that shit done. It's a fun story, isn't it? That's the things we can do. Let's get it done. So send us your stories. Get in touch with us. We can affect change. You can affect change. Send us a message on Facebook. Shoot us an email. Contact wdtw@gmail.com.